The Raiders got back to practice on Thursday with the uncertainty of their star tight end, Brock Bowers, and his availability from Monday. We'll break that down, talk about it. You'll hear from him, plus more, on Friday's edition of the Locked On Raiders podcast for September 12th, 2025.
You are Locked On Raiders, your daily Las Vegas Raiders podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome in, Raider Nation, to another edition of the Locked On Raiders podcast. Thank you so much for making the show your first listen of the day. We definitely appreciate you. If you're catching the show wherever you find your favorite podcast, or you're checking us out by way of the YouTube page, you know we appreciate you. The show continues to grow each and every day because of your consistent support and the great job that my man Ari does behind the scenes, making sure we look good and sound good each and every day. You can find him on Twitter at Ari Produces. You can hit me up as well at your boy Q254. And if you want to be a part of the show, we got the Locked On Raider podcast voicemail line, 707-654-4693. We'll close out the show, getting back to your calls and texts. We didn't have any on Thursday since we had the crossover edition, but we will hear from you. Plenty of great subjects about the game, conversation about Brock Bowers, and more. We'll do that in segment number 3. Segment number 2, if Brock Bowers cannot go on Monday, somebody will have to step up. Who will that be? I got a few ideas. We'll talk about it in segment number 2. Here in segment number 1, news and notes of the day, and as you can imagine, it has to do with tight end Brock Bowers. We'll get right to that after I tell you about the title sponsor of the show, which is Mazda. Like all the Raider players, they sweat every detail. So does Mazda, because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is the only beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. Mazda, move and be moved. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. The Raiders did get back to practice on Thursday. They had an off day on Wednesday. Of course, they'll be practicing here today on Friday, also on Saturday, off on Sunday, with the game being on Monday. So what that means is we got our first look at the injury report. We got our first opportunity to talk to head coach Pete Carroll, and we got our first opportunity to get inside the Raiders locker room. We'll do that again today. We'll do it on Saturday, and then 90 minutes before kickoff on Monday, we'll find out who the inactives are. So looking at the Raiders and the Chargers for the injury report on Thursday. The Raiders only had 2 guys on the injury report. The problem is the guys are very important players for the Silver and Black. Tight end Brock Bowers dealing with the knee injury. DNP did not participate. Saw him in the Raiders locker room with a big compression sleeve on his leg. So that's something that he normally doesn't have. Obviously, he left the game on Sunday against the Patriots with that knee injury. And all the reports coming out of that game was that he would be fine to go back into the game if they really needed him. They held him out for precautionary purposes. But again, seeing the compression sleeve on his leg, the entire leg on Thursday inside the Raiders locker room, definitely had cause for concern. And also linebacker Landon Roberts with the elbow injury. DNP did not participate. He's the guy that went down after 11 snaps on Sunday against the Patriots. Tommy Eichenberg came in and filled that void, but Devin White really picked up the pace by leading the team in tackles with 11, a few tackles for loss, and really was sideline to sideline flying around the field and looked like not Tampa Bay Devin White, but LSU Devin White. So those are the only 2 guys that were on the Raiders side of the report for the injury report. Again, we'll get another one today and Saturday. But for the Chargers, they have 4 guys on their injury report. Defensive back Elijah Molden, dealing with the hamstring injury, was limited on Thursday. Linebacker Denzel Perryman, obviously we know him very well. Ankle injury, DNP did not participate. Linebacker Delshawn Phillips, toe injury, DNP did not participate. And cornerback Tarheeb Steele, calf injury, was limited. So all 4 of their guys that are representing on the injury report all on the defensive side of things. And that's going to be one of the big keys to this game coming up on Monday is the Chargers defense, because they held the Chiefs to a very low number when it came to the run game. I don't know if that was the Chargers defense or the Chiefs' refusal to run the ball. The leading carrier for the Chiefs as far as the ground game was Patrick Mahomes. Right. And so to me, it makes me feel like, you know what, the Chiefs just didn't try to run the ball. So there's still questions about the Chargers and their run defense. Of course, we'll talk about that in keys to victory for the Silver and Black. We'll do that on Monday's show since we got another day before the Raiders actually take the field. We'll have a lot of fun talking about the game as a preview on Monday, leading right into Monday Night Football. But of course, when you're thinking about the Raiders, you're thinking about their offensive attack, you know what Brock Bowers brings to the table. We saw what he was able to do his rookie year. We saw what he did and didn't even finish the whole game on Sunday. 5 carries over 100 yards for the Silver and Black. But the big concern is he going to be available for Monday Night Football versus the Chargers. Myself and Vinny Bonsignor caught up to Brock Bowers in the Raiders locker room right before they actually took practice, because they did the practice a little bit differently. It's a little bit backwards this week, which I'm okay with. We actually got to talk to Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, Ashton Genty, and we went into the locker room, and then they went and had practice. So it's good for me because my radio show is at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So normally they would do it after practice. I would miss all that. But myself and Vinny Bonsignor caught up with Brock Bowers for just a few seconds to ask him the important questions about the knee.
How's the leg feeling, and what do you feel about Monday night being
it's feeling a little better. Just working on it, trying to get it right. We'll see how we're feeling.
Expecting to play on Monday, or I know you got to go through it and see how you feel, but do you expect your expectations are?
I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see how it's feeling throughout the week, but I'm hoping to play.
Have you dealt with anything quite like this before, or is this something relatively new?
I've dealt with certain stuff kind of like it, but I've never really done the same thing before. I don't know. But, same sort of stuff, yeah.
So I don't know about you, but that's why I wanted to play that sound for you, and I played that sound multiple times on my radio show on Thursday so you can take away what you need, right? I tweeted out that Brock was not 100% sure if he's going to play on Monday. He said, we'll see. And you heard him right there. You can, take for what you want the sound in his voice. To me, I walked away from that feeling like, yeah, it doesn't sound like he's going to go. Now, again, that's just my gut feeling. Nobody's telling me that. That's just based off of Vinny asking him about his knee and me asking, do you expect to play? And again, when he says he'll see, obviously he wants to be out there. He wanted to be out there on Sunday, but it really doesn't sound like he's going to play. He was very hesitant to say that he's going to play. Now, many have hit me up and said, well, it could be just gamesmanship, and they could be trying to lay low and make Jim Harbaugh think that, he's not going to play or just kind of, play mind games with the Chargers. Yeah, they could. They could be doing that, but I think that Jim Harbaugh is going to be prepared for Brock Bowers anyway, right? I think that he's going to make sure that the team is prepared for Brock Bowers, and if he doesn't play, in their opinion, that's going to be a win. I don't think E-Rob's going to play. Neither one of the guys practices, as I went through the injury report already. I think that sprained elbow, the fact that he had to get carted off the sideline for the Raiders on Sunday, to me makes it feel like that he's not going to go. But as we asked Pete Carroll, I asked him, is he expect those guys to play? He said they're going through what they're asking them to do, right? The coaching staff is asking them to go through a certain part of the process as far as the rehab, the treatment, the walkthroughs. And Vinny Bonsignor said that the goal is to get Brock Bowers on the field to practice sometime between Thursday and Saturday. Well, he clearly didn't practice on Thursday. Maybe he takes the field for a little bit, maybe even limited today. Maybe he goes limited on Saturday, and then maybe he's able to go on Monday. But it just wasn't reassuring just hearing Brock and the uncertainty in his voice. And then again, seeing that compression sleeve on his leg kind of make me feel like, yeah, he probably isn't going to go. Today's practice schedule, 12:15 to 1 o'clock. We'll have an opportunity to catch up with defensive coordinator Patrick Graham and offensive coordinator Chip Kelly. That'll be indoors, and then we'll get into the locker room, and that'll close probably about 1 o'clock, and then at 1:45, practice will be open. So if you're looking to see if Brock Bowers and Landon Roberts actually are on the practice field participating, that's about the time. 1:45 Pacific time, that's when the media will be allowed into practice. I won't be there, but of course, guys like Vinny Bonsignor, guys like Ryan McFadden from ESPN, Paul Gutierrez, Raiders.com, Levi Edwards from Raiders.com, they'll all be there. Jesse Merrick does a good job as well. They'll all be there, and you can follow them on Twitter, and they'll tweet out if they see Brock Bowers participating or Landon Roberts as well. So the big question is, as the Raiders have to get prepared for Monday and this game against the Chargers, if no Brock Bowers, then who? Who steps up and takes his place? And obviously, he's a big-time contributor offensively. So who can fill that void? I got a few ideas. We'll talk about it coming up in segment number 2 of today's Locked On Raiders podcast. Before we get to that, though, I do want to tell you about a couple of great sponsors that we have here on the Locked On Raiders podcast, including DoorDash. It's almost the weekend. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. I'll just go for the Raiders, man. Geno Smith, he delivered in a big way, right? We all thought that going into that game on Sunday against the Patriots that it was going to be the Ashton Genty show, run, especially when it was rainy weather. I thought, okay, now they're really going to get into a ground game on both sides of the ball when it comes to the Raiders and the Patriots. And instead, Geno Smith took it like a champ, 360-plus yards, threw the ball around the yard and looked really good. Dante Thornton coming up with the big catch on 3rd and 20 to basically salt the game away. So just like Geno Smith delivered for the Raiders, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays. With DoorDash Streaks, you save every Saturday you order. Stack it up all season. You can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through November 18th. I also want to tell you about our good friends at FanDuel. The NFL season is here, baby. FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So maybe if you're taking a look at Monday Night Football, Raiders, Chargers, you see the Chargers coming into Allegiant Stadium as 3.5-point favorites. You're like, nope. That's not going to happen. The Raiders are going to win, or at least they're going to cover. It's going to be closer than basically the Chargers winning by 4. Well, that's all right. You could take that hunch, and you can win with FanDuel. Folks love using FanDuel because it fits however you like to bet. Player props, building the same game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. So maybe you're seeing something at halftime, those Raiders adjustments, if you know what I'm talking about. It's quick, easy, and the best way to add a little bit more energy to Sundays, Mondays, or Thursdays. So are you ready to play? Of course you're ready to play. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. All right, Raider Nation, here we go. Segment number 2 of today's Locked On Raiders podcast. Got to get into the conversation. If no Brock Bowers, then who? Who steps up and plays and fills that void that Brock Bowers will leave? And again, he had 5 catches, went over 100 yards. He's just that dynamic player. And the Raiders, as I've mentioned before, have plenty of weapons. It's funny, I said that to Geno Smith about him spreading it around to a bunch of different weapons. And he's like, wait, hold on. I thought that they said that there were no weapons. So as much as I was being petty about the Patriot reporters that were saying that they didn't need Christian Gonzalez out there because the Raiders don't really have any weapons, and I said I was being petty and somebody should play that inside the locker room, clearly Geno Smith heard that. Clearly Geno Smith knew exactly what they were saying because he said, wait, they don't have any weapons, but he did have weapons as he spread the ball around. Not only did Brock get involved, Big Mike got involved, Jacoby was active, Dante Thornton, Jack Best, Trey Tucker, everyone got involved in the party, and Ashton Genty actually was the least of the contributors, but still played a role because he was in there blocking and really made the play action pass go because he was out there. But let's just say, for the sake of this conversation in preparation, that Brock Bowers isn't able to go on Monday. Who fills that void? First of all, Jacoby Myers is still wide receiver 1, so I believe he's still going to be that guy, steady Eddie, right? You kind of know what to expect from Jacoby Myers. He's about as consistent as it gets. It's funny, I saw him in the locker room on Thursday, and I said, how in the hell did that ball get to you? How did you catch that pass from Geno that went through like 3 different defenders? And he said, man, I'll tell you, I was surprised it got through too, but when it did and I caught it, I thought, I better do something with it. He did all that to get it to me. I better do something with it. But that was kind of cool to hear Jacoby say that because, again, that was an incredible pass from Geno, a great catch. They ripped his shirt. They stretched it out. Really big pickup from Jacoby. But he's going to be steady Eddie, not concerned about him. The rookies, Dante Thornton and Jack Best, if Brock Bowers can't go, I think Jack Best plays a bigger role, right? I mean, he's a guy because Brock Bowers is really somewhat built in a wide receiver type body, similar to Jack Best. I know he's not Brock Bowers. I know he's not seasoned like Brock Bowers, but you saw that Geno had no problem going to him. He had that nice, 23-yard completion for a first down when the Raiders needed to have it on Sunday. I think that Best could play a slight role. And look, everyone is not going to just slide in and fill the Brock Bowers role. It's going to have to be a collective effort, but I do think Best plays a role. Dante Thornton, I think, continues to do what he does. I actually asked Geno Smith about that pass to Thornton where it was 3rd and 20, and he went down and made the catch. And he said, man, that was a hell of a catch. If I had made a better throw, he would have scored. He said, but I got to give the rookie credit for going and making the play. And he's going to make a lot more plays than that. Geno was very businesslike on Thursday when we talked to him. I'll tell you, man, there wasn't too many laughs. Wasn't getting excited about Monday Night Football. It's like, hey, it's just another game. I don't want to get too high on Monday night and under the lights or whatever like that, prime time. None of that matters. It's just another game. So he was very businesslike. But Thornton and Best, I think they'll continue to grow at the rate that they're growing. Trey Tucker, you saw him get that touchdown. He was the first touchdown that the Raiders had on Sunday. Nice little pitch and catch on that first drive from Geno Smith. So I've said it many times. I think Trey Tucker is going to get heavily involved in this offense. I know Chip Kelly likes him. Geno Smith has no problem going to him. And that's the other thing. Geno goes to the guys that are open. He spreads the ball around. It's not like he's just going to lock in on, like, say, Brock Bowers, 18 targets, or Jacoby, 18 targets, or just keep feeding one guy. He has no problem with spreading the ball around. So I definitely think Trey Tucker will get involved as well. But Raider Nation, I got to tell you, I think it's Big Mike's time. I really do, and I'm actually pretty excited for him. Now, I want Brock Bowers out there. The two-headed monster is really a great combination to have in that offense. But I think it's Michael Mayer's opportunity. Big Mike has been waiting for this opportunity. This is his third year in the league. The Raiders traded up 2 staffs ago into the second round, a little bit higher in the second round to go get him. Many people thought Michael Mayer was going to be a first-round pick. He slid to the second round. The Raiders jumped on him and went and got him. His rookie year, Josh McDaniels, for some reason, didn't want to go to him. Right? They went to him for a couple times early and then went away from him the rest of the game. Year 2, he stepped away for personal reasons, but he's back. He's healthy. And what Vinny Bonsignore pointed out to me on Thursday that I thought was pretty interesting and I didn't know was the fact that when Pete Carroll was hired as the head coach, him and Michael Mayer sat down for about an hour and a half, and Pete Carroll just got to know him, got to know the man, the person, not the football player, just got to know the person, kind of what makes him tick, which obviously showed that he had interest in Big Mike. He obviously had seen him, and was wondering probably about him and why he wasn't more productive in his career. And all they did, Raider Nation, I can promise you because I was there, OTAs, mandatory minicamp, training camp, preseason, all those practices that I was at, they were targeting Big Mike early. They were targeting Big Mike often. He is a guy that they like a lot in this offense. Now, what he does from a production standpoint and a blocking standpoint looks a lot different than Brock Bowers. Again, he's not going to be Brock. Brock is a wide receiver in a tight end's body, right? Similar to what we saw from Darren Waller, but different size, obviously. But obviously, Brock is the guy who's so fast. He's so strong. He's, he could do so many different things. Big Mike is more of your traditional tight end, but he's really good. And when he was at Notre Dame, he was the man. I mean, think about the riches that the Raiders have when it comes to those tight end positions. Michael Mayer was considered the best tight end in the country when he was at Notre Dame. And then all of a sudden comes this guy at Georgia named Brock Bowers, who ends up being the best tight end in the country. And the Raiders got both of them. I didn't say both. I said both. Like B-O-F, both of them, right? They do. They have both those guys on the squad. They have both those guys in the tight end room, and they could really end up being, and we said it many times, like Gronk and Aaron Hernandez were, but just the Raiders version. Well, if Brock is out, Big Mike can be that guy, right? Where he can rumble in, bumble in, stumble in. I mean, you saw, Tucker Kraft for the Packers on Thursday Night Football have a big game, 6 catches, over 100 yards and a touchdown. That could easily be Big Mike's numbers, if not better. And he can block. And they can bring in Ian Thomas. Remember that name that I was talking about in training camp? Ian Thomas. He's going to play a role in this Raiders offense. Remember I said that? Okay. If Brock can't go, and again, I'm not saying he's not going to go. It's only Friday, right? We'll find out sooner rather than later if he's going to go or not. But Ian Thomas, if it has to be, he'll go in there and play that role that Big Mike is playing. Big Mike will slide into the Brock Bowers role. Ian Thomas will slide into the Big Mike role. He's an 8-year vet. He can block like the best of them. He also has the ability to catch the ball as well and rumble and bumble and stumble, right? So the Raiders are going to want to live in that 12 personnel. We talked about that on the show earlier this week. And they can still live in that 12 personnel because they have a very deep tight end room. So I think those are the 2 guys that really are going to benefit the most. I don't like to say benefit because it almost sounds like it's a good thing, but those are the guys that are going to be relied on. Those are the guys that they're going to lean on even heavily. Jacoby, Thornton, Besh, Tucker, they're going to do their thing. But I think you see an uptick with Michael Mayer. You see an uptick with Ian Thomas. And, but the one guy I haven't talked about yet, yeah, he's pretty good. He was drafted number 6 overall. His name is Ashton Genty. I think you see a much more bigger effort, I should say, in the run game. I think you see much more out of Ashton Genty. Now that he's got one game under his belt, kind of got the juice and the excitement and the hype out of him, right? He knows what this is. He settles in at home, right? It's not raining. The weather's not bad. It's indoors. He's going to be good to go. Got the home crowd. 86% Raider fans going to be there on Monday, estimated. I think that this is a big game for Ashton Genty, and I still don't know if the Chargers can actually stop the run. The Chiefs stopped the run for them because they didn't attempt to run. Patrick Mahomes was the only guy running for Kansas City. I don't know if the Chargers can. The interior of their defensive line is good against the pass, but are they solid against the run? That's the question. I know Khalil Mack can stop the run, but he's still getting a little bit older. And I feel like Ashton Genty and his offensive line could still scheme that up and make some big plays in the running game. And Ashton Genty can catch the ball in the backfield. He only had 2 catches for 2 yards on Sunday. I see an uptick there as well. So with all that being said, I don't want to see Brock Bowers out, but if he's going to be 100% healthy sooner rather than later by missing a game, then maybe that's the best plan of attack. Remember, the season is a marathon, not a sprint. It's 18 weeks and 17 games. The Raiders are 1-0, and if they have to go into this bad boy on Monday without their bad boy and Brock Bowers, they still have plenty of weapons around, and the defense will have to step up and play a big role as well, right? But their offense, I think it can be okay, and I think they have the guys to overcome. Someone said on my radio show on Thursday, they said with Brock Bowers, the Raiders could put a whooping on the Chargers, right? Feels like that they can beat the Chargers pretty handily. Without him, it's probably going to be a nail biter, but it could still be a dub. I definitely believe that is the case, and I think Big Mike, who's been waiting patiently to get his time to shine, this could be it. Michael Mayer, please come to the front of the congregation. You're going to be needed on Monday if your running buddy Brock Bowers cannot go. What's on your mind? Your calls and texts will close out the show, 707-654-4693. Before we get to that, though, I do want to tell you about the title sponsor of the show, and that is Mazda. This episode is brought to you by Mazda's Moving the Game Forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, move culture, and keep the game moving forward. This week's moment that moved the game forward, did you have any questions what it was going to be? Of course not. Geno Smith to Dante Thornton Jr. There's a reason why I gave Dante Thornton Jr. a game ball on Monday, because that was a big play, 3rd and 20. It helped salt the game away. He's a rookie, right? Dante has to slide to the ground to go get it because it was underthrown. Geno was under all kind of duress, right? He slides. He gets interfered with. They don't call it. He comes up with the catch, gets the first down on 3rd and 20. Gotta have it. They have it. Move the sticks. Game, set, match, Raiders, right? Simple as that. That's moving the game forward, right? When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Here we go, Raider Nation. Segment number 3 of today's Locked On Raiders podcast. Your calls and texts. You have that Locked On Raider podcast voicemail line, 707-654-4693. We'll start things off with a call from Jacob in North Carolina. He's calling to talk about the schedule that the Raiders are dealing with both this week and next. Here he is, Jacob in North Carolina.
Hey, Q. Hey, Ari. This is Jacob Mazza from Wilmington, North Carolina. Hey, fellas. I'm giving you a call because I just got done watching the Commanders game. And, you know, we got them next, right? We got them after our Monday night game, so it's already a short week for us. And then we got the Commanders. We got to go to the Commanders. And, like, the Chargers, they get an extended week because Chris Brown is in L.A. Like, the schedule makers did not do the Raiders any favors. And I hope that Pete Carroll thinks about that and uses it as motivation. All right, fellas, let's go get this dub Monday. Peace.
Jacob, thanks so much for the call. Yeah, I mean, it's not favorable, right? I mean, the Commanders, they get plenty of rest, 10 days off. But honestly, they didn't look that great on Thursday, right? And I know that they're playing against a really good Green Bay defense. Jaden is fantastic, but their weapons are suspect, right? Their weapons are old. Deebo Samuel, Terry McLaurin doesn't look like he's gotten into the groove yet. He held out. You know how that goes, right? We saw it with Josh Jacobs. It took him a while to get going. And, oh, by the way, Austin Eckler looks like he tore his Achilles. That's going to be confirmed sometime today, but that's what it looks like. And, their defense is suspect. I think that the Raiders are definitely – I actually feel a lot better about this game, the Raiders going to D.C. But before we worry about the Raiders going to D.C., we got to worry about the Raiders playing on Monday at Allegiant Stadium, right? I'll worry about the Commanders next week. We'll start talking about the Commanders next week. How about Tuesday or Wednesday, right? Let's just focus in on the Chargers right now. Let the schedule work itself out. It's not favorable, but again, man, you play the schedule, you do what you do. These guys can handle it. As Lincoln Kennedy tells me all the time, yes, they got to travel. Yes, they got to go west to east. These guys are on chartered flights. It's the best of the best. They've got the best accommodations. Their hotels are 10 stars, right? I mean, everywhere where they're staying is top of the line. They're getting all the great treatment on the plane. they're well taken care of. They're going to be all right. So thank you so much for the call. Definitely appreciate you. Up next, got a text from SoCal Raider. Aloha, Q. It's SoCal Raider who continues to kick it in the 808, which is Hawaii. The Raiders clearly have the edge of competing at the highest level on Monday Night Football. While many focus on the rivalry between Coach Carroll and Harbaugh, 3 critical factors stand out. 1, Geno Smith excels indoors with a 52% success rate compared to just 45% outdoors. 2, offensive coordinator Chip Kelly has successfully faced Jim Harbaugh's team in both college and the NFL, splitting their matchups 1-1. During Chip's time at Oregon, although they did lose one game to the 49ers, Patrick Graham's defense is eager to rebound after 2 losses to the Chargers in Harbaugh's inaugural season last year. These elements position the Raiders for a decisive advantage along with their keep competing mindset for all 4 quarters. Appreciate all you do for the Silver and Black, and let's go Raiders at SoCal Raider in the 808. I like all those factors. At the end of the day, the Chargers are a very good team, and the Raiders are showing and trying to prove that they're a very good team. Right? They're stepping their game up playing against the Chargers as opposed to the Patriots. They're stepping up in weight class. The question is, are they in the Chargers weight class right now, or are they still a level below? Well, we'll find out on Monday. But I like the elements that you brought to the table: Geno Smith, offensive coordinator Chip Kelly, and Patrick Graham. I'll tell you what, Patrick Graham's defense is going to have to play for 4 quarters. They can't just start getting pressure on Herbert in the second half. If they do, the game might already be out of hand. So thanks so much for the text. Definitely appreciate you. Up next, got a call from Raider X. He's calling to talk about Monday's game, Brock Bowers' injury, and also the health of Geno Smith. Here's Raider X.
Yo, Q, this is Raider X. Just wanted to get prepared for Monday's showdown. We got a little nicked up. This is a United team. I'd like to get a little feedback, obviously, on the Bowers injury to see, really the dynamics, on what we could do. I believe it's we have no concerns with, Big Mike going in there. I think Michael Mayer can handle it. It might change the overall, look of the offense, but I think that, it's going to be a slugfest. And what better guy to have in your corner than Michael Mayer, and really go in there and just, bring it to the Chargers defense and play that large. We still have, was it Ian Thomas in there, with the ability to really go big and really play some smash mouth football. I think that'll open some more lanes and truly, sit there in the middle of the field and just battle it out like 2 champion fighters. But also, Geno Smith looked a little gimpy in the game. Just looking on the overall health of him, and we never really established who is our backup quarterback. Is it Pickett, or is it that other gentleman that we picked up late in training camp? Or is that just going to be our emergency? Because I know Pickett was a little bit dinged up too. Just trying to get the overall situation. And Landon Roberts, is it going to be Tommy Eichenberg? And what are your thoughts on that? And see if there's any changes. I'd like to be interested if they're going to change up their game a little bit of that, or use different schemes to make sure that we have a good run defense, because I believe the Chargers are going to be really pounding the ball. Raider X out.
X-Man, thanks for the call. Appreciate you. And, yeah, I mean, like I talked about in segment 1 and 2, Brock Bowers could be a no-go on Monday. I'm with you. You heard in segment 2, Big Mike will have a bigger role. It's going to look different, but it's going to be a bigger role, and I think he can handle it. Matter of fact, I know he can handle it. Ian Thomas, he'll be a factor as well, right? As far as Geno, he's a little gimpy. Right, Vinny and myself noticed it at the facility on Thursday. He had a little hitch in his giddy up when he was walking. But as I said, he was all business on Thursday, man. No smiling, no laughing. He was just kind of really focused on what he was doing. But he wasn't on the injury report, so he should be good to go, because those things, even if he doesn't want to admit that it's an injury, those things got to be on the injury report. That's a violation across the league. So as long as he doesn't pop all on the report, we're good to go. If no E-Rob, Tommy Eichenberg will have a bigger role. But honestly, I expect Devin White to be the guy with the green dot. It could be Tommy because, again, he's behind E-Rob on the depth chart. But I just think that they're going to probably want a vet in that position. And Devin White really proved to be a hell of a player on Sunday against New England. So thanks so much for that call. Definitely appreciate you. Just got time for a couple more. A quick one here. A text from Southern Indiana Raider. Hey, Q, Southern Indiana Raider here. I'm watching the game tonight. I'm wondering why they let Josh Jacobs walk. It's a big-time mistake. Keep up your solid work. That Southern Indiana Raider. It's so funny that you said that. I was watching it, too. Actually, I was on my ESPN radio show watching the game night. We were highlighting it, and then hearing from players and coaches after the game. That's what we do on Mondays and Thursdays. And I got a text from Lincoln, Big Lincoln, in the middle of the text. He said, "You see how Jacobs is running, and we let him go? What?" So Lincoln obviously said the same thing and saw the same thing, Southern Indiana, that you were talking about as well. So, I'm glad that the Raiders got Ashton Genty, but I think anyone who's listened to this show for a while knows how I felt about Josh Jacobs and would love to see him still in the silver and black. And honestly, I think he'd still love to be in the silver and black. Thanks so much for that text. I appreciate you. Got a call from the Voice Raider. He's calling to talk about the game on Monday and what he wants to see and what he does not want to see, and has a statement for the Raiders. Here's the Voice Raider.
Hey Q, this is Star from New Jersey, representing the 908, aka the Voice Raider. I listened to your show earlier when you were talking about how this Monday night football game between the Chargers and the Raiders was a show me game, and I agree with your take. It reminded me of last year when we were coming off a win against, I believe it was the Baltimore Ravens. We were on the road for that game, and it felt like a statement win, right? And we all felt good. We all felt good after that win. Then we came home against the Carolina Panthers, which was a complete trap game, and we laid an absolute egg against Carolina. I do not want to see this team lay an egg against the LA Chargers. This is a divisional opponent. It's going to be physical, and it's going to be a tough game. My advice for the Raiders is, y'all got to show me. Y'all got to show Raider Nation that what you did against New England was not a fluke. This whole compete thing, it's good. Believe me, it's good. But at this point, you got to show me and the rest of Raider Nation that this is real. That this is real. You got to show the Chargers who you are. That's all I got, you. I'm ready for Monday night. My first Raiders home opener. I can't wait to watch the game and wear my customized Raiders jersey. Let's beat those Chargers Monday night. Raiders.
The Voice, like the TV show, man. Shout out to you. And yeah, show me for real, right? That's what it's all about. The Raiders have a chance to make a huge statement on Monday night. A statement to themselves, a statement to their fans, and a statement to the rest of the NFL, right? But you got to go out there and you got to make it happen. It's all on you. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with, in the rest of the league, right? The national media. It all has to do with those guys, those 53 men in the locker room and the coaching staff. If they want to make a statement, if they want to let it be known that, yeah, we're for real, right? That a victory over the Patriots wasn't just a victory over a bad team, that we can compete with the big dogs. Okay. Go out there and win that game on Monday. Handle your business at your house. Give your crowd something to cheer for and a reason to keep coming back. You want to go ahead and start getting that home field advantage? You know how you do it? Win. Win, 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 no matter what, right? That's what you got to do. Make that happen. Just win, baby. That's the mantra. Thanks so much for the call. I appreciate you. We'll close out with a text from Luke. Big Luke, formerly of the 503, says, Q, Luke, formerly of the 503 here, regarding Brock Bowers. Do you think this is some gamesmanship by both Brock and Pete? This will make it harder on the Chargers to prepare defensively. Now, if Brock is out, will this be a chance to run some more 3 and 4 receiver set and see more Jack Bech and Trey Tucker? Gino ran a lot of 4 wide receiver sets with the Seahawks with short, quick passes. Can we see some of that? Thanks for all that you and Ari do. Let's get this dub and keep some momentum with Raider Nation at Allegiant Stadium. I'll be flying in for the Titans game. The way they to keep visiting fans out of our house by winning. Just win, baby. Raiders. That's Luke, formerly of the 503. Thanks so much for the text. And yeah, honestly, I don't think it's going to open up more 4 receiver sets. I think it's going to be more what I talked about in segment 2. I think you're still going to see 12 personnel, but you're going to see Big Mike and you're going to see Ian Thomas. I think that Jacoby, Trey Tucker, Thornton, Bech, I think those guys are going to play their role that they played on Sunday, and that was a big role anyway. I think that you're going to see more from Big Mike, and I think you're going to see more from Ian Thomas, and, oh, by the way, Ashton Genty as well. As far as, kind of what Gino brings to the table, I think that he likes this offense the way it's set up. I really do. And I don't really think about, like, gamesmanship just because I think Jim Harbaugh is going to prepare for Brock Bowers. Like, if you prepare for Brock Bowers and he doesn't play, okay, cool, right? But you're already set. If he does play, then there's no problem, right? Look, Brock Bowers is the best player. So if you prepare for the best and then you don't get him, then you're still prepared, right? It's almost like being over-prepared. There's nothing wrong with that. And I know there's certain times that they have, and they're only allowed, to do so much work. But I think that preparing for Brock Bowers is definitely something that will be on Jim Harbaugh's checklist. He's not going to overlook him because, it sounds like Brock might not go. But thanks for the text. Definitely appreciate you. Can't wait to see you at Allegiant for the Titans game. So that's going to do it for today's show. It's not going to be, the game on Sunday, so we won't be handing out game balls. We won't be talking about what went wrong because Monday is the game. So on Monday's show, we'll definitely get to the keys to victory, right? We'll still have the Raiders squad show as well with Chantel Chan, Lincoln Kennedy, and myself. We'll do that morning, and we'll preview the game. So we got a lot coming to you. So enjoy the weekend. Enjoy all the games. Follow me on Twitter at your boy Q254 at Ari Produces. I'll tweet out the injury report not only today, but I'll do that on Saturday as well. So if there's any chance that something breaks and Brock, we find out that he's not going to play or he is going to play, I'll tweet it out for sure and definitely get some sound from the locker room both today and Saturday. So Monday's show should be loaded. So enjoy the weekend, Raider Nation. We'll be back on Monday to give you a preview and a breakdown, keys to victory. We'll do that then. So until then, Raider Nation, take care of yourself, take care of your family, love on your family. Most importantly, as always, just win, baby.